We kick off with the 2023 presidential candidate, Peter Obi, who took to the streets of Abuja from Abati to Kwali, Zuba, Gwagwalada and Amak in the lead up to the February 21st FCT local government elections to show support for the African Democratic Congress ADC candidates in those constituencies. Walking through the streets of the various local government areas with his supporters, he engaged with citizens and listened to their concerns, as he declared that he is not scared and that he is in this election to change the lives of our children.
Nigeria. Let nobody make you lose hope. I'm not here. I'm not scared of anybody. And for me, I'm in this election. We must have a better Nigeria for our children.
Well, meanwhile, the ADC has unveiled a 50-member Wise Men and Women Policy and Manifesto Committee to be chaired by Chief John Odigi Oyegun, with Professor Pat Utomi as the deputy chair. However, the main conversation here is, can Peter Obi secure the ADC presidential ticket? We can see the goodwill on the ground. We can see that the numbers came out for him in the FCT yesterday. So a lot of conversation happening around that. Dr. Abati, I'll come to you first.
Well, I mean, straight up, Mr. Peter Obi has made it clear that, you know, the greatness of Nigeria is possible with P and O in capital letters. And he has been very consistent that he's in this business of politics, of leading Nigeria to serve the people, to improve the welfare of the people. And he has every legitimate right to say so, whether it is in the south or it is on the streets of Abuja, FCT, where they are having elections, municipal elections, you know, in the FCT. So what I do not agree with is some people saying they are in a position to dictate who should become the candidate when the primaries come up. He's in the ADC, and he has also made it clear that he's going to run to win, particularly at the primaries level. But there are other contestants. The only concern about people is the rhetoric coming from Obedience. The person is called Obedience, who has almost been as magisterial, judgmental as some other persons involved in the matter, saying that it must be Peter Obi by force. You know, in a democratic process, you cannot dictate the outcome of a process. And I would just say, you know, the people in the ADC and also the members of the obedient movement should know that politics is also, you know, about respecting the rights of other people, you know, to make a free choice. Either within the party, we should have internal democracy, or in the general field where the rights of the people to choose should be respected.
Absolutely. I know there were also some concerns that maybe the Obi factor of 2023 had died down, and some of these visuals, you know, making people question whether that's really the reality, although it's just FCT. But that conversation is still happening there, whether the Obi factor can sweep through the same way it did in 2023. Ayo.
All right. So let me just say that every single election from now till the main elections in 2027 is going to be important, critical, and a show of just how much political muscle and power that each individual or each candidate carries. And of course, the conversation has been around since the defection formally from the Labour Party to the ADCs, that can Peter Obi work the magic he did. Because whether we like it or not, the Labour Party was almost non-existent before he came with his obedient movement. We re-energized the party and actually came third according to INEC's release of results at the last presidential elections. That was a massive feat for anyone to achieve. And so the big question is that if he's able to achieve this, would the ADC look at the potential for their chances at winning or clinching that presidential slot during the elections of 2027 and put this into consideration with him getting the ticket against big heavyweights like Atiku, you've brought Rotimi Amechi a number of times. You've been pushing it. Let's not forget
I'm not
him.
pushing it.
No, not pushing it, but like you always remind us
yes.
that there's another person.
Because he fought a good fight in the last.
And whether we like it or not,
primary.
he also has his own political clout. So just to mention that this is a big show, that Peter Obi still has the a magic touch with his people. He's still in touch with the obedience, and maybe this might be the upsets that a number of the coalitions are looking forward to come 2027. Let's see how he consolidates on this.
All right. Well,
I don't like to get ahead of myself. Yeah. Number one, Obi still has his touch, but I don't think it will impact his local council elections in Abuja because elections are local. If ADC does not have a strong candidate on ground and you think because Obi went there to campaign, nothing will happen. No. Obi equally went to campaign for Mogalu that has now left the Labour Party in Anambra State. After using the Labour Party, nothing still happened. So let's not delude ourselves. I'll tell you the pure facts. Secondly, as regards the obedience saying is Obi or not, in Dr. Abati, you can't be judge or begrudge a group of persons for having a firm mindset of support. Yes, that's democracy. If it doesn't go their way afterwards, they will see what is on ground. But you cannot say that they have the right not to be able to toot their candidate. People will toot their candidates. There's no how. I think for me also, as regards this ADC committee coming together, is the fact that hope they are not already making mistakes now. A case of Yemi Adamolekun is there. So how did the ADC go put Yemi Adamolekun on a team where she has not agreed to be part of? It shows some of their shenanigans to start with. And I keep saying all of these things. Please, they must be able to look internally and look very well and get their processes right so that people will not be talking anyhow to them.
Absolutely. Well, I think one of the big themes really is to see whether internal democracy will actually succeed when the ADC primary comes about, because, of course, we know the reputation that primaries have, and we look forward to seeing how that plays out. We're still talking elections, as the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria has renewed its call for the immediate removal and prosecution of the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Joash Amupitan, ahead of the 2027 general elections, describing him as a threat to the credibility of Nigeria's democratic process. Well, the council warned that Muslims would neither recognize nor legitimize any election conducted under Amupitan's leadership, citing that what it described as serious integrity and neutrality concerns. The president of the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria, Sheikh Bashir Umar, said the council's stance was based on what it described as the INEC chairman's questionable antecedents, particularly a legal brief he authored affirming the existence of a Christian genocide in Nigeria. According to him, the position taken by the INEC chairman amounted to divisive propaganda and raised serious doubts about his impartiality as the head of Nigeria's electoral body. You can imagine this is a topic that would generate a lot of feedback, especially on social media. Let's go to X quickly and see what people had to say. In this post, Yakubu wrote, "Appointments are not determined by feelings of religious groups. Nigeria belongs to all." Okweolua also posted and said, "It must inspire confidence along religious and ethnic lines, but not competence." Ah, God. This last post on X says, "Well, it's hard to satisfy everyone in this country. What we truly need is a strong, principled leader who stands firm and makes decisions in the nation's best interest." I love that tweet because, in essence, Nigeria is such a diverse nation that it's going to be impossible to please everyone, and we also don't expect the leadership to sell ice cream. They're not here to sell people ice cream, but we also do expect principled decision making. Dr. Abati, I'll come to you on this topic of this Sharia council saying that Muslims will reject any election under Amupitan, as if Muslims in Nigeria are one homogeneous, monolithic group.
Well, I think that the Department of State Services, the DSS, and other relevant agencies should invite this Sheikh Bashir Umar for a conversation and to advise him accordingly, not to inflame passions, not to he himself spread divisive propaganda before the commencement of the 2027 elections. Interestingly enough, the Sheikh was talking about Nigeria's future, faith, leadership, and I think justice. Now, I cannot put that on the tripod of religious division and say that for religious reasons or on the basis of antecedents that he may not also be well apprised of, that the INEC chairman should be removed immediately. Otherwise, Muslims will not take part in the 2027 elections, or they will not accept the outcome of any results announced under the leadership of Professor Amukuton. No, that kind of rhetoric is dangerous for society. And that is why I think it should be called to order. Because as a sheikh, he occupies a position of importance. As president of the Sharia Council, he occupies a very important position. And there may be less knowledgeable people, you know, who may be tempted to believe what he's saying and then act on the basis of his own affirmation from the high pedestal that he occupies. The second point is about Professor Amukuton. Now, the antecedent that he's referring to, Professor Amukuton was said to have written a legal brief, which is in circulation, where, you know, he's alleged to have said, oh, there is Christian genocide in Nigeria. I don't know what date this was, but nobody, I think, should capitalize on religious sentiments to say, oh, you know, because you are a Christian or because you are a Muslim, it's likely to affect the outcome. Section 10 of the Nigerian Constitution is very clear that there shall be no state religion. Nobody is given a major appointment in government in this country on the basis written of being a Christian or a Muslim. Now people talk about tickets, Muslim, Christian, Muslim, Muslim. It's a conventional thing. It's a tool of convenience for politicians looking for what best serves their purpose. But Nigeria does not have such an official policy, whether it's at the presidential level or anywhere. It's just convenience, you know, and it's not written anywhere in law. And people should say that. What I expect the Sheikh to be saying is to mobilize his followers as Nigerians who have civic duty and responsibility to make their own choice, to vote, and to respect the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Well said, Dr. Abati. You said the Constitution said there must be no state religion. Why do we have pilgrims bought for both religion? And why does the government subsidize religious travel every year?
Am I quoting the Constitution wrongly? It says there should be no state religion,
I said
federation, or any part thereof.
Dr. Abati, yes, you stated it, but why do we now have pilgrims board and the government subsidize religious travel every year?
We have often, and it's a correct position to take, that politicians should not use the divisive factors of religion and ethnicity for their own political purposes.
Yes, exactly.
And that's why I said, you know, it's politicians who do this for purposes of convenience and political opportunism. But it should not be something that people in positions of leadership should be promoting or using to incite the public. Incitement to violence or hatred is a felony.
Absolutely.
Please tell Sheikh that.
I'm sure he's gotten the message loud and clear. Very quickly,
I just wanted to say that I think the point at which our politics and governance will be elevated in this nation is when we're able to remove religion and ethnicity from conversations. For too long, it's been used as a tool, whether for good or whether for bad. So maybe we need to come to a point whereby religious leaders who wield such huge influence on their followers are not allowed to make certain statements, especially if it's in the interest of national security. Now, if we have the elections and people start protesting based on what INEC does, it can be traced back to the statements. And that's why with much power and influence comes great responsibility.
Very well said, Ayo. Religion is something that should not be weaponized, especially as we're getting into this very heated period in the lead up to elections where we know that it will be an intense campaign. So religion is not something that should be used as a weapon.